Good morning, viewers. How are we today? Just a quick channel update and a list of few things that we've got that have come in the mail to get some of these group builds underway. I've been waiting ages for Australia Post. Terrible. So, I did do a video before, but I've got it cold and my nose is running and I was sniffing around and it sounded bloody horrible, so I'm doing another one. So, the first lot of figures I've got, finally got my British stretcher bearer party, which will be the top half here. The tops will be the uniform jacket, will be the top half of my IRA figures, and they'll be combined with the master box that I got in the mail with these Iraq 2 figure kit, so I can get the bottom civvy parts to go with the British jackets. And the master box kits, everyone knows what they're like. They're good. So what will be done is I've got to chop the build the figures up. Then I'm going to carefully cut the legs off the pommies and then carefully hollow out with the Dremel tool and get the legs and everything off the Iraqi guys with their plain Jane boots and put them into the rest of these figures. Make some balaclavas the way that Simon Kemp suggested would be a good idea. Thank you, Simon. Which will be using a technique, some glad wrap and some stockings, and a little bit of effort to try to make some balaclavas, even though in the Iraqi kit there is one of these insurgents having a balaclava on. I'll probably get away with that one, or use that one as a sort of an idea of how to make the rest of them. So I've taken the punt. I'll cut the old Tamiya kit, the old Tamiya figures up. They are the old Tamiya figures, but they are still very, very, very good. Some nice detail on them. I do have to remove some of the webbing off these British guys, because the pictures of the IRA I have seen, they don't carry any webbing. They sort of just carry probably one clip or two clips of it, or two magazines of ammunition in their pocket or something, even if they've got that. So plenty of spares with the spare box later on, and so that's going to be something that I'm going to convert. So hopefully I can get this one underway for the this one started over the weekend to get these figures done for the Say Cheese group build for the 135th scale non-prolific modelling channel. I'll put those back over there, and I'll put my insurgents back in the box where they all belong. Actually, they probably belong in the ground somewhere. Anyway, the next thing that I got for Steve Mottram's group build Gulf War, I get some bits and pieces for that. The main equipment for modern US military vehicles, which comes with an assortment of water cans and fuel drums, eskies, a couple of rifles and some ammo boxes, and 2 wheels off a Hilux, which unfortunately in transit the wheels float around in the bag, which I hate. Actually have damaged one of the Barrett 50 cals barrels, so now that barrel will shoot high and to the right by about 12 foot at 1,000 yards, probably more. It's pretty bent and I don't know how I'm going to go straighten it out. So the bent barrel could be something I could use. I've got an idea for my part of my Dorama base, but yeah, I would just wish they wouldn't let things with such delicate parts float around in a bag. It's everything else looks quite good, the main stuff, but you can put your wheels in a little separate bag, and sort of even if you just so they don't rattle around. So I got those. The other thing I've got, and these are like bums because everyone's using one at the moment of this build, is I've got some modern US tankmen in Afghanistan. Can we buy one of your sheep for a barbecue? And so I've got those as well. So yep, they're definitely been used by everyone. Everyone's using them at the moment, but rightly so. They're a nice set of figures. And the good thing about it is, in the end, I wasn't too sure, and I'm probably giving Steve Mottram the shits because I keep asking questions on Messenger of different colours and things like that. But now I've got a painting chart, so I can actually see what I can paint. And the painting chart, of course, flags out Vallejo and life colour paints. So the Vallejo acrylics, I can say from experience, do brush well too. They're very nice paint. And the other part I've got some Meng water bottles, and I've got these really nice little signs here by Mouse Armour, which are the Meow, the Middle East Area of Operations warning signs. So says stuff like "Go home, your camel's on fire," and a few things like that. So I'm looking forward to getting stuck into that one for Steve Mottram's build. While I've been doing my door armour base for the Operation Torch Spitfire, which I'll have a final reveal soon, I have been working on the Abrams tank, and for the Gulf War build, I've just got the painting done, which I've painted in the worst paint you could possibly ever buy and use. It is a nice colour, but it just sprays like shite. And I tried pressures and tips and everything like that, which is I've used the Model Master Acrylic US Army Marines Gulf War Armour Sand. It looks good. The colour's pretty good, but as I said, it's really horrible. It's just like the paint is like, and I haven't wasted it. You don't have to thin it down. I've used a whole jar just on that. Where to me stuff you could probably get it covered over in a pot. It's just watery shite. You can't even brush it on, it's that thin. You've got to put 200 coats of it on. But I've got it done now, and my anti-slip has come out exactly how I wanted it to do. Doing some chipping, which I've never ever done before. People said, oh, the Gulf War Abrams weren't knocked around. Well, I've got photos, and I beg to differ. I have seen them with the absolute crap knocked out of them. And this one will be a little bit knocked around. With a photo you'll see on my Facebook page of the Abrams I'm trying to model this one off, even though it's not a mine plough version. It's knocked around, so it had heaps of chipping and scratching and oil stains, and the side skirts have been scraped along something like a white post or a white building because there's a big white mark up the side of them. And I want to try to replicate that because it'll just get rid of the dull monotone look of the tank. And also that's why I've got those Meng Esky sets, so I can put some blue in there. And I'm going to go and get some Selly's 2-part epoxy, like handyman epoxy, which I'm going to make some my own rolls and packs, which I have watched a couple of videos on how to do, so I'm going to have a crack at it and load it up. And I'm going to make some black dust covers for the smoke discharges, replace the 50 caliber machine gun from the Tamiya kit with one out of an Academy set that I've got, because the Tamiya 50 cal in this kit comes with a really horrible injector pin mark smack bang on the side of the receiver of the 50 cal. And the other thing was, I've also lost the barrel off this somewhere, and I don't know where. It just fell onto the floor. It just fell off. I was very, very careful with it. I might have cracked it a little bit when I was removing it off the sprue gate. That's all I can think of. And yeah, so I've got to try to find that somehow. It might be the stocking over the vacuum cleaner and vacuum the floor till I find it. That I've got to put the mesh in for the bottom of the basket, and then just load this bugger up with a bit of stowage. Do a little bit more weathering on the bottom half of the tank. I've got the major greasy, horrible, mucky stains on it. All I want to do is just do some little basic pin washes, just to bring out some of the other detail. I have got my side skirts done. They're not chipped up or scraped, but I've used different variations with oils to get some bleaching and different effects, and then that will go on the side here. And I haven't got blue tack to hold on, but that's sort of the effect I've got, so it's sort of working together. I've tried my highlights and low lights, which I've never ever done before, but I've been watching a few channels on how to do that. On the other side, as you can see, I have got, and I'll just stick a pot of Tamiya. So I wouldn't even trust the testers to do that. Probably that watery the thing will fall over. I have got a different colour, couple of road wheels in there that I wanted. And this side I've cut the side skirts. Added one green panel for a little bit of variation. And this one here will be posed open at this end. So I've made some hinges up for it. So it's going to be hinged open. And we're going to have something jammed in there that the guys are looking at on the side of the road with the Guardian that I've got, keeping a little bit of cover. You might be able to see there's a couple of areas there where some of the washers have pulled up a little bit, but that's an easy one to fix just with reactivate the wash with a little bit of white spirits and just clean it up, keep cleaning it away. But the chipping's done. I've sort of did the chipping and a couple of things I've watched, and once I get the pin wash done, decals will go on next. The whole thing will give like a buff, sort of a very light coating of buff, just to dust it up, and then we'll work on the tracks, which probably Steve Mottrams getting sick of me asking him questions, but he's been very good. So I've got a technique for the tracks. Some of the photos I've seen, the tracks are heavily rusted around the pins. The pads are still like the rubber, but a little bit worn and chipped. These little caps was a good thing that Steve Mottram did bring up as well, was these little caps here on an Abrams. Oh, I can't find my little pointer stick. Where's it gone, you bugger? I'll use a paintbrush. These wheel caps here were black, so I'm going to paint those black and try to replicate some oil that's running around these rims, and then the dust is stuck to. Underneath here is just going to be the normal everyday little bits of grit and grime that I can get there. But yeah, for an armour kit that I really haven't done one before, I like this Tamiya kit. I didn't realise how big the Abrams was until you actually build them. They're a big tank, isn't it? Very impressive. So yeah, that's that one out of the way. So on the way, I'm just waiting for oils and things to dry now, and I can continue on with the tracks. All the hatches and stuff are done. I've just got to wash them and start doing some bits and pieces with those. Spray the interior white, and then get those all weathered up a little bit. The worst thing with this kit too is one of the which I wish I hadn't have done now is attach the mine plough to the kit and then paint it. But what I tried to do was replicate where it was painted in the European Theatre of Operations colour first, which was the green and the black, etc., and sort of sprayed around it as they would in the field to get the colour back, put the desert camo on. So my base coat, instead of black, I've used green, and then I did what John Moore has done and used the white, and then sort of fill in the panels, which was very, very good effect. I think so. Just got to do the lenses and stuff, the armoured periscopes, the glass. So I'm not too sure how to get about that, but I'll work on that, and I wouldn't mind trying. Another thing that I picked up off John Moore's channel was the use of like a tinsel, because the main periscopes around the commander's hatch are moulded in, but the driver's one's separate. They come as little separate clear parts. So I know I could probably put a bit of Tamiya clear or a bit of this foil behind it, but the other ones I've got to work on how I'm going to try to get those done. And lastly but not leastly, the Pacific group build is up and running. Started on the 4th of this month. We've got one entry so far, which is Ace Scale Modelling. Good on you, mate. He's doing a pair of P38 Lightning that came in the Hasegawa 1/72 scale kit with the beautiful nose art and the silver aluminium finish to them, so they'll look quite nice when he's done. My group build entry, I've got a practice one that I'll be doing first, just to get some effort, just to try a few things, which will be this old Tamiya, the 1/48 scale Tamiya, the old Zero Fighter. Not many parts in it, but it's really, really well moulded. It's a beautiful kit, and I've wanted to always do one of these on a carrier deck, so I'm going to try to make my own little bit of carrier deck out of some strips of veneer timber and a bit of writing, etc. So that's it, guys. To everyone that I've watched everyone's videos the best I can. I've just been bombarded with subscribers lately. I've gone from 60 to over 130 in the matter of a week. I think a lot that's got to do with Jens at 1/35 scale non-prolific scale modeller, and my old mate Steve Mottram, who came into bat for me, which is unusual because I don't think you'd expect anyone to do that for you, but I'm really flattered, and so everyone's been jumping on board. Support's been fantastic. There's boy oh boy, guys, there's some guys, some of the work is incredible, unbelievable. But just another quick thing, if you haven't already subscribed to, please check out Bez Beasley's channel at the moment with his Band of Brothers diorama he's doing. Bez doesn't recognise how good he is. He's a very humble man, if I may say so, and he's absolutely a very, very talented guy. Fantastic work, Bez. You do a great job. Awesome. There's another guy on there on my channel, Cohen. He's doing an entry for the Say Cheese group build. The work you work, mate, is like, I was just like, especially your second entry, which was supposed to be the first one you finished, but it was his second entry with the tiger inside the bridge that collapsed. Mate, bloody beautiful. Yeah, yep, fantastic. I love it. So, that's it, guys. Couple of shout outs to all the rest of you. You know I love you. If I can't get hold to a comment on your channel, it's not that I don't like it or I'm not making an effort. It's just that I've been really busy with work this last couple of weeks, and just sneaking a video at morning tea, smoko, and lunchtime stuff. I can watch it if I've got good signal, but I sort of don't have time to do a bit of commenting. So until then, guys, I will make a effort to comment on you or contact you in some way. But till then, guys, be safe, model hard, and just remember, a tiny little bit of effort, you can get a good result out of an old model kit. And as Simon Kemp would say, this is the Tasmanian Devil signing off. Cheers.